Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Hi guys, how are we feeling the fit? I think it looks pretty good. I pitched it together from an old Halloween costume, so it's not like it looks perfect, but I think it gets the job done. Welcome to another episode of Landon Sits in His Room and Rambles About Star Wars, the only YouTube channel where his hair is literally taped behind his ear. Can you see that? You can see that. Ear tape, ear tape. If you've watched my last Star Wars ramble on my YouTube channel, this is a very different place. I've moved into a new house, got a new PC, and I've been really looking forward to using it in order to create more YouTube content, especially Star Wars, but I've got a few other videos coming on their way as well, and I just really was excited. So there's a little thing that's coming out these days. You may know it. A little indie film called Obi-Wan Kenobi. There was a specific audience that I saw. One particular part in the show was really bothering. There was some rhetoric that was being used that kind of confused me and surprised me. So I wanted to first go into what exactly from Kenobi I'm talking about. There is a scene where Reva, heard it pronounced this like differently every time. At the end of episode 2, Reva tells Obi-Wan that Anakin Skywalker has survived. She says Anakin specifically by name. Let's just kind of go through that scene and kind of analyze it, exactly what she says.
Lord Vader will be pleased. You didn't know. He's alive, Obi-Wan. Anakin Skywalker is alive.
Reva does refer to Vader by the name Lord Vader first, and if you notice, Obi-Wan does in fact respond with facial expressions before Reva specifies by mentioning Anakin Skywalker later. I bring this up because it will be important later in the video. So Obi-Wan reacts to Anakin's name. Reva tells him that he is alive and has been looking for Obi-Wan. On to the next episode, we see that Obi-Wan is taking this news pretty hard, as though he didn't know that previously. I've seen a lot of people act surprised, because how could Obi-Wan not know that Anakin was Darth Vader? We knew that he fought him. I've seen people claim that the writers of the Obi-Wan show have not seen Revenge of the Sith, which is quite a bold claim, because it seems, first of all, that everyone involved was very passionate about this project. Kathleen Kennedy does highly endorse the prequels when marketing Obi-Wan Kenobi, because I can already imagine the outlash that I would receive from making such a bold claim. I want to show this first clip from the D23 Expo in 2019. This is the official announcement of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and the excitement in the room is just palpable.
After secrets and fibs and not being able to talk about it, I am thrilled to bring out a beloved member of the Star Wars family.
Kathleen, can you ask me, am I going to play Obi-Wan Kenobi again?
Ewan?
Yes?
Are you going to play Obi-Wan Kenobi again?
Yes.
This article was released on the StarWars.com website. You can check the link up at the top, but basically there is a quote by Kathleen Kennedy where she says this will be the rematch of the century. To me, that certainly seems to imply that she is very well aware of the love and respect for Revenge of the Sith amongst fans. Here we also have a quote from Ewan McGregor. We started to feel all your love for the prequels that we made, so it would certainly seem to imply that the people involved at Lucasfilm were aware of the love for the prequels. I also have a few excerpts from an interview with Kathleen at Star Wars Celebration 2022 with Anthony Carboni. I mention him for no other reason than that I think he's funny and great, and I love him.
With all of these things that we know are coming, what are you the most excited for in the Lucasfilm slate for 2022?
I'm excited for so much that's going on. I think, and the most important thing is, we're bringing in people that are just having a blast being a part of this. And I think there's nothing better than Star Wars to escape into right now when everybody is experiencing a lot of tough things happening in the world today.
Yeah.
So if Star Wars can give us a little bit of hope and optimism and something to escape into, I think that's something we all want to do.
Yeah, how has it been making things over the last 2 years?
Well, I have to really give a shout out to our crews and everybody at Lucasfilm, because the resilience everyone's had trying to work around COVID. We also talk a lot about what are the values that really distinguish Star Wars. What is it that everybody says, oh, that's Star Wars? And I think it is hope and optimism. We can also experiment. As you can see, there's a huge amount of variety to what we're doing. We can move through timelines, even though we want to make sure that these stories actually continue to inform what's come before, but also surprise us. I think you're going to find each and every show and all the new characters we're introducing are just fantastic.
Oh my goodness! It's gonna be a party tonight, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh man! Where are we all watching? Kathy, give everybody your room number. Where are we all watching? It is
Very funny, Anthony.
Hayden and Ewan themselves have talked about rewatching the prequel trilogy. Hayden watched The Clone Wars and Rebels. Definitely doesn't seem to me that there is an absence of respect for the prequels here. In fact, there is numerous references to Episode 3 specifically. We see a comm link from the prequels. We see Obi-Wan's little handheld device that he and Anakin hold throughout the prequels, specifically Revenge of the Sith. We see images of Obi-Wan from Revenge of the Sith. Hey guys, so after watching episode 5 of Obi-Wan, it's even more laughable just knowing what we know now. Of course, spoilers for Obi-Wan, but I mean, come on. I mean, the editors certainly have seen Revenge of the Sith. I mean, the first part of the first episode is literally like a football hype video where everyone's like, everyone's getting like really hype for Obi-Wan and Anakin to fight again. I think it's an interesting claim to say that the writers would not have seen episode 3. I know that these particular people, I'm not going to name any names. If you know enough about the Star Wars fandom, you might know who I'm talking about. I've seen a lot of it start from one source in particular and spread to TikTok and a bunch of misinformation. So I just wanted to clear up some of that. So going back to this scene and the following scene in the next episode, Obi-Wan reacts pretty hard. He acts as though he's very surprised, which who wouldn't be after finding out the guy that you thought you killed and left for dead on a volcano is suddenly still alive. I would be pretty surprised. I don't know, maybe that's just me. You chop somebody's legs off, and then he falls into the lava, and then he's like screaming that he hates you. And then he literally lights on fire in front of you and then like presumably burns to death. I would be pretty surprised to find out that that guy is like still alive and good, especially a decade later. So people apparently thought the Obi-Wan Kenobi show was implying that Obi-Wan did not know that Anakin was Darth Vader. Let's look at some of the evidence that would imply that Obi-Wan does know that Anakin is Darth Vader. There is a scene in Revenge of the Sith that clearly states this. This is the scene that I've seen a couple people point out on TikTok saying the Obi-Wan Kenobi series writers do not remember this scene in Revenge of the Sith. Obi-Wan and Yoda have just infiltrated the Jedi Temple after discovering the events of Order 66. Obi-Wan says, who could have done this? And he feels compelled to check the security footage. Now, why is Palpatine there? Why is this scene that we just saw that takes place in the office take place suddenly in the Jedi Temple where they have it on security camera? I don't know. Did Darth Sidious walk in there after Anakin killed all these people and then was like, now rise, Darth Vader, because I need to say your name out loud so that Obi-Wan Kenobi can hear it.
My new apprentice. Now, Lord Vader, go and bring peace to the Empire.
Rise, Lord Vader. Just so that we can hear him say it, I guess. So it's clear from this scene that Obi-Wan knows that Anakin is Darth Vader. I don't think that the Obi-Wan show is trying to deny that at all. In fact, I believe that it is simply playing off of the fact that Obi-Wan didn't know that Anakin survived. First of all, it tells the audience that Reva knows that Anakin is Darth Vader. It also tells Obi-Wan, hey, that guy that you thought burnt into a crisp, he's alive and he's been looking for you. A lot of people are very quick to say, how on earth would Obi-Wan not know that Darth Vader's been around? Well, I want to go into that. So Obi-Wan, as we've seen, has been sad and lonely in a cave for 10 years. That wasn't always the case in Legends. I don't think the Obi-Wan show makes enough of a difference from Legends content to make it too confusing or certainly to override anything from Revenge of the Sith. In Legends, Obi-Wan Kenobi finds out that Darth Vader has survived pretty early on. There is a passage in James Luceno's The Rise of Darth Vader where Obi-Wan is in a cantina on Tatooine, and he sees a news broadcast about a mysterious figure storming Kashyyyk. Now, if you're like me and you like The Force Unleashed, you know that that's probably the same events of The Force Unleashed when Darth Vader invades Kashyyyk there. We know that Darth Vader in Legends invades Kashyyyk. We know that Obi-Wan finds out that Darth Vader has survived and that he's been put in this big suit. He sees it. I think that that might be why people are a little confused, but let's talk about canon now and kind of see where that difference is. So Darth Vader's presence, especially in the early days of the Empire, is a little different in canon than it was in Legends, at least so far as how many people know about his existence, who he is. Not many people know anything about his background. To them, he is a random figure who appeared in the Empire shortly after Revenge of the Sith. Even if Obi-Wan didn't know Darth Vader was the person in the suit, if he saw a big guy in a black suit, he could probably assume who it was. I don't think that Obi-Wan in canon sees any of this footage. I don't think he goes to the cantinas that much. It seems like he's pretty lonely and doesn't really hang out with the locals all that much. Kind of just stays with his EOP and picks up his job getting meat from a big whale, whatever that is. I don't know what that is. If you haven't read Charles Soule's Darth Vader comics, I absolutely recommend. I think they're so good. Soule is just a brilliant writer. The way that he writes Star Wars is super cool, and he always knows how to spike your interest with new cool plot twists and a lot of glup shittos, if you will. There's a panel from this Darth Vader comic that describes Darth Vader's introduction to the Imperial hierarchy. Palpatine basically introduces him as somebody they should obey. His word is basically the same as the Emperor, so that immediately gives him a lot of authority over the Imperials. The Imperials know who Darth Vader is, but if you look at Rebels and a lot of the interactions between Imperial officers and Inquisitors, they know who they are, but they don't know a lot about what they do. The Inquisitors kind of work on their own under Vader. They're their own sect. You see Darth Vader appear as an Imperial officer, and you know that something big is going down, but you don't know what, and you don't know who this guy is. You just know Palpatine said to follow him to a select group of Imperial officers, and the Imperial officers are scared of him, therefore you are scared of him as well. You see him around sometimes, but that's about it. Darth Vader is, of course, Palpatine's lackey, essentially, but Palpatine also lets Vader go about his own business to an extent. Vader builds his entire castle. He's able to meditate, go on missions on his own. He leads his own legion of stormtroopers, either Vader's Fist or the 501st or whatever you want to call it. There's a different name for it in canon now, I believe. While Darth Vader is certainly present in the Imperial hierarchy, it does not necessarily imply that he is well known in the galaxy, and I definitely don't think that it's implied that Obi-Wan Kenobi would know Darth Vader has survived. That's what the Obi-Wan Kenobi show is really getting at. Obi-Wan obviously knows that Anakin is Darth Vader, but what he's reacting to is finding out that Darth Vader survived. Worse, when he finally sees what has become of his former best friend, he's encased in this black suit. When you take a look at the dialogue in A New Hope, Obi-Wan has to know. He has to know in order to know in A New Hope that Darth Vader is the guy in that big suit. He has to know enough in order to call Darth Vader Darth as a playful nickname. To me, A New Hope has always implied that there has been more history between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader interacting besides just Episode 3 and A New Hope. I actually think it makes a lot of sense that they would have enough familiarity with each other so that Obi-Wan is not as shocked to see him. So we kind of have to learn, how do we get to this step? And I think that the Obi-Wan show is showing us this. There's another subject that I came across while perusing the internet. I have seen a certain opinion that there should be a flashback to Anakin killing younglings in the Jedi Temple. Why you would want particularly to see the details of slaughtering children, especially in today's current climate, is beyond me. To me, it seems a little gross and a little bit like a misunderstanding of Star Wars in general, let alone as something that anybody would want to see. What does that have to do with Obi-Wan? We literally get to see Order 66 in this show, let alone in other materials that we've seen recently. We know that Anakin kills the younglings. We see more of Anakin killing younglings in Revenge of the Sith than I think we even need to. It is wild.
Hey there guys, it's post episode 5 me again. So as it turns out, the person who wanted this actually got his wish and we got to see more children die, but in the show it actually serves a purpose. We learn Reva's backstory through these events rather than pointless violence, which I think is an important distinction to make. Keep mindless killing out of my Star Wars unless it has a reason to be there. Okay, thanks, bye.
To Obi-Wan and Anakin in the trenches of the war that they fought in, though, that makes more sense to me. Not only would we be able to see more of Obi-Wan as a war hero and dig into some of the trauma that he has experienced, but we would also see his camaraderie with Anakin, something that we of course have seen in the Clone Wars. I think that it would be fun to get a little recreation from the original 2003 Clone Wars movie where they're in the trenches together and they're kind of bickering. That kind of short little clip, maybe Ahsoka, maybe Rex involved. I think that that would be enough. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I basically just wanted to clear up. Yes, Obi-Wan knows that Anakin is Darth Vader. We all know that Anakin is Darth Vader, but remember, we the audience are not Obi-Wan in this moment. Obi-Wan is Obi-Wan. He's in this fictional universe. I do think we are going to get a scene with Obi-Wan talking to Qui-Gon Jinn and wrestling with everything that has happened as far as training Anakin goes. Maybe in that moment we'll get a flashback, maybe. Regardless, I am very excited for the show. There are some parts that I like, some parts that I'm not crazy about, but I definitely don't think that they are going against anything that has been set up by George Lucas so far. And remember, for Light and Life, we are all the Republic, and may the Force be with you. Stay tuned for more Superfish Films content coming soon. Wah, 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 wah.